Police are investigating the email account that was used to send a bomb threat to the Los Angeles Unified Public School District. The threat prompted the school superintendent to cancel classes on Tuesday, a move that impacted more than 640,000 students. It all turned out to be a hoax.
Insider's Graham Cates is here now. And Graham, the superintendent is facing some backlash over this response to this threat. Why is that?
I mean, people are saying that maybe that he overreacted. It turned out to be a hoax. Apparently, from the email address name, it should have been pretty apparent that it was a hoax. But of course, the police in LA are saying, well, they did the right thing. We didn't want to take any chances.
And just note that New York got a similar threat the same day, and they went ahead and went with classes. They did not cancel classes.
Yeah, it's become apparent that it's possible that the New York threat was even from the same email address, which again, it should be pretty clear that it wasn't real. But New York police are still investigating it,
yes.
And they're joining with LAPD, the FBI, and trying to get to the bottom of who sent this hoax threat to apparently multiple school districts, not just New York and LA.
Graham, you spoke with the man who runs the email service, where the threat came from. What kind of information did he give you?
His name is Vincent Canfield, and he said that he turned over to the police kind of location identifying information and other things related to that for this specific email address that was used. He gave them IP and MAC addresses, which helped police kind of narrow down where it came from. Originally, people were saying that the email came from Frankfurt, Germany, but that's just actually where the email hosting service is. And then also any other information related to registering for the email account. So if other email addresses were associated with it, he was able to provide that for police. And then just really, so any details that he had in particular.
So from what I understand, the NYPD actually issued a subpoena to this gentleman, Vincent Canfield, and actually asked him to keep this on the down low. But he then instead tweeted out the subpoena. What's he doing? What's he thinking?
So he's gotten a lot of subpoenas before. People who run email hosting services get them whenever there's an investigation that involves an email. And he said that he has a personal transparency policy where he always is upfront with any dealings he has with law enforcement, to the point where he actually called the NYPD, called the detective who sent the subpoena, and he recorded his conversation with the detective where they were discussing the confidentiality of this. And then afterwards posted that recording onto Twitter. So there were two recordings he had of two different detectives he spoke to that were immediately put online.
We have a little bit of that. Let's go ahead and play it.
If a couple tweets from my meme email provider can shut down your school district, that's an administrative problem. That was more just like, come on, it says in the name, and you're going to shut down a school district as a result. It's more saying like, you really shouldn't be taking it so seriously. Take a look at the domain name, look at the site, look at where it comes from. Look at where my users are from. They're not going to, that should be a consideration taken into account when you're looking at a threat that you receive from my service.
So that's a phone call you had with him while you were reporting the story.
Yeah, we spoke on the phone yesterday, and what he was referring to is the name of his email hosting service has a kind of explicit word in it, and he was saying, it should have been really obvious. It's kind of well known as being used for jokes and pranks and stuff like that. And he was saying police should have seen the
Well, New York
address.
City police clearly did, right? I mean, the mayor, Bill de Blasio, and the police commissioner, Bill Bratton, when they appeared at that press conference, they seemed very dismissive of the email threat that they had received, which is, I guess, similar to the one, or perhaps even exactly the same as the one that the LA folks received.
Yeah, and Canfield is too. I mean, he knows more about the emailer than anyone else. He is able to see lots of information about it, and he seems to think that this should have been really apparent from the beginning that it was a joke.
But on the other side, you never know. I mean, some terrorist could join this, get an email address under, this guy's little space on the web or whatever, and disguise himself that way. So it's kind of, in this type of environment that we're in right now, you just never know. It's a very tough call.
Yeah, especially in Los Angeles right now.
For sure.
Which was so close to San Bernardino, very fresh in their minds.
Graham Cates. Thank you very much. Yeah, remember, you can track investigations and read up on the big crime stories of the day at cbsnews.com/crimesider.